Welcome, floorball fans, to the second game of the day here live from Winter Haven, Florida. Today, it's going to be another incredible matchup with playoff implications. Here is the Fort Worth Jaguars. Get ready to take on the Fresno Force as we continue the 2023 NAFL season. Over halfway through already. Both of these teams in close competitions for a playoff spot. Coming into today, there was a three-way tie for the second seed in the NAFL. Fresno, part of it, at 10 points in the standings for the playoffs. Now, the tie partially broken in the last match as the Aviators came away with a win over the Minnesota Growlers. Now it's Fresno and Minnesota, both at 10 points, tied for the third seed. We'll see if Fresno can come away with a win here today to put themselves back in the standing for the second seed. The Fort Worth Jaguars just looking in from the outside, still very much in playoff contention. If they can come away with a win here today, it's going to be huge as we get closer to the end of the regular season and beginning of the playoffs in Fort Worth, Texas. Fresno driving down with recovery on the faceoff there. The hit's going to be awarded to the Fort Worth Jaguars. Now on a force, passes it to Pepe Strumer. Fort Worth is a team that loves to set up their passing game, staying often in their backcourt for stretches of a minute or longer. Fresno, a team that thrives on great defense. It's set to be a clash between the two strategies. The Fort Worth Jaguars coming off of a loss yesterday to the Ohio Aviators. It was a 10-2 loss. Certainly one they weren't looking forward to after the first meeting against the Aviators in their first game of this season, coming away with an incredible victory, 10-9. But the Fort Worth Jaguars have been losing some steam the last few games. They're coming off of a two-game losing streak between Minnesota and the Aviators. They're going to look to regain some momentum here in the back half of the regular season against the Fresno Force. Fresno, of course, a team that's also coming in today at 3-3, but they're coming at it from the other side, gaining a lot of momentum, coming off of a win yesterday against the Texas Tornadoes, 10-4. They've done a great job at increasing their scoring margins throughout the season, really catching their rhythm and coming into their own. We're going to see who comes away out on top in what's set to be an intense matchup. Fresno, of course, adding new talent to the team yesterday in Axel Solander and in Adrian Amdahl. They provided a well-needed infusion. Solander coming away with a hat trick in his first game for the Fresno Force at the halfway mark of the season, already making their impact seen. Frederick Frafjord now, the pass back to Adrian Amdahl. Amdahl driving around center lane. He'll get around Roimala. Coming around, the pass to Matt Smith. Trying to chip it in. It goes off the body of Turrehusi. Kicked out there by number 59, Sami Alonen. Alonen gets it to Force. Roimala. Now it's Dokledal driving down. He'll get around Castellanos. Driving in close. Frafjord on field player defense. Able to stop him from getting a shot off. Castellanos to Smith. Passing it to himself on the boards. In the back corner there against Angersieg. Smith losing control there. Torkelson trying to recover. It's still him on Angerstieg there in the far corner. He's got Torkelson for help, but he's able to get it out to number 12, Alex Dokledal of the Jaguars. Force going to take it from behind his own goal line as Fresno retreats, bringing their first line back out to the court. Now it's Isaac Angerstieg on the close line. He passes it over to Force. We've seen some changes in the lineup for the Fort Worth Jaguars so far during the Florida week of play here this season. Number 98, Yoel Cruz, head coach for the Jaguars, traditionally has been suiting up. He played 3 games for the Jaguars, but he appeared to have a leg injury during the last match yesterday. Not coming out now. That puts Alex Dokledal back on the first line, and that means Force has been serving consecutive shifts with multiple lines to help make up for the player deficiency. It certainly had an effect. Axel Solander, shot attempt goes off the body there of Jakob Jaros. Sorio trying to drive down, goes off the foot of Nilsson. Solander still on the close wing. The ball chipped out of bounds there. It's going to be a hit in for the Fresno Force. Ball coming onto the court here. Solander getting ready to take it. He'll pass to Nilsson. Edvin Nilsson, deep shot attempt, sailing just wide left, going around behind the goal. Alex Noeman with great hustle, able to get there and pass it back out to Nilsson. Edvin Nilsson over to Max Blanco. Back to Nilsson. He's got Noeman on the close wing. Cross-court pass. He'll find Blanco. Trying to get it into Solander in the crease, unable to. Engersteig getting there first after the pass sailing wide right. Jaros now with the ball for the Jaguars. He'll kick it out. Isaac Engersteig trying to get around Kim Nyberg. Blocking possession there. He'll get a free hit awarded to the Fresno Force. New line coming out again here for Fresno. Frafjord to Torkelson. The shot attempt goes out off the helmet of Turrehusi. And it's going to be a hit in here for the Fort Worth Jaguars on a force. The pass to Pepe Strumer. Sami Alonen on the far wing. Passes it to Onefors. A lot of components for this first line involve a lot of chemistry for the Jaguars. A lot of returning players such as Onefors and Pepe Strumer hailing from the same West End Indian team in Finland. They already have a lot of experience playing together. They can anticipate where they'll be a lot of the time. It's often very hard for defenses to break up that passing chemistry as a result. We'll see if Fresno can do it here today. Pass to the far side, kicked away by Strumer. And Torkelson shoots and scores, but the play is called away. It's going to be a hit awarded to Fresno. The whistle blowing before Torkelson got the shot off. The board's getting repaired there on the far side. Still, Fresno going to have an opportunity here to continue the pressure. 15:28 remaining in the first, still scoreless here, live from Winter Haven, Florida. Nyberg to take it. Over to Neumann. Shot goes off the body there of Dokladal, sailing to the far boards. Kicked out by Blanco. Neumann on Alonen. Strumer there for support. Another hit's going to be awarded here to the Force. And Neumann, shot attempt goes off the body of Onefors. Pepe Strumer now. Trying to get around Max Blanco. He's able to chip the ball away. Solander sending it into open water. Alex Neumann waiting there. He'll pass to Edvin Nilsson in his own backcourt. Nilsson back to Neumann. From deep in the center, trying to find Solander. The ball chipped off the body of Husi. Onefors able to get there. Neumann still driving around. Pass to Solander intercepted. Onefors on the steal there. It's going to be a free hit awarded to the Fort Worth Jaguars. Pepe Strumer taking his time. He passes it to Onefors. A lot of back and forth so far this match. Neither team sustaining too many long offensive drives. The closest we've seen has been Fresno in the last 2 minutes. Pepe Strumer driving down. Nilsson able to come away with it. He'll have support from Nyberg, but he'll lose control. Alex Dokladal here for the Jaguars. Chips the ball out. Stolen by Solander. Over to Neumann. Driving down the center lane. The pass attempt to Blanco. Deflected by Onefors. Now it's a mad grab back around center court. Dokladal still with possession. The pass to Roimala back down to Alonen. Now the Jaguars going to look to settle down the pace of the game. Onefors on the close wing. Over to Engersteig. Engersteig taking his time. He passes back to Onefors. Not a lot of motion here from the Fort Worth offense yet. Sorio cycling in towards the crease. Engersteig driving in. The pass attempt goes off the body of Castellanos. Jaros trying to recover. Torkelson driving around, chipped away by Sorio. Amdahl now trying to make a counteroffensive here. The pass sailing wide past Castellanos. Chipped up in the air by Frafjord. He'll be able to get it out to Matt Smith. Down to Torkelson on the close wing. Through the legs of Onefors, trying to find Castellanos again in the crease, but chipped away. Jaros now with the pass to Folick. Back to Jaros, driving down off the stick of Matt Smith. Ruled fair play. Fort Worth was looking for a call there. Matt Smith on the far side. It's going to be a Fresno Force ball. Now Edvin Nilsson in his own backcourt. The pass to Kim Nyberg. Nyberg, of course, who serves as an assistant captain for the Fresno team. Solander to Nilsson, off the boards to Neumann. Back down to Nilsson. Solander losing some control. Onefors boxing him out, allowing Angersteig the angle to the ball. Onefors now. Ball chipped out of bounds off the stick of Max Blanco. And it's going to be a hit in here for the Fort Worth Jaguars. Onefors set to take it. He'll send it all the way down the line to Pepe Strumer. Seti Roimala behind the Fresno goal. Off the boards, Blanco able to get the steal there. The pass not having enough power to get to Alone, and Neumann chipping it back towards the far corner. Blanco on Alone in here. Back to the boards in Fort Worth territory. Alone and coming out on top with it so far. Blanco still on a full court defensive press. Now starting to back off here. Pepe Strumer walking up slowly. We'll go over to Onefors. Strumer back to Force. Fort Worth slowing the pace of this game. Max Blanco increasing his press, trying to compensate. No success so far. Onefors still in open waters here. Still a lot of room to breathe. With Blanco off the court now, it's a further reduced press here from Fresno. And driving down now, it's Neumann on a fast break. The ball didn't touch the ground for at least 30 feet there. Kept getting chipped in the air by Neumann. Impressive stick handling. But it's Pepe Strumer now for the Jaguars. Pass in the center. Sails wide by Roimala. Now Nilsson, the pass to Amdahl. The last time these two teams met, the Jaguars came away with the victory 8-5 live from Georgetown, Texas. And it's a goal. Unbelievable. On the fast break, Torkelson getting it around Torrejose. It looked like a save, but it just rolled behind him. The Fresno Force, the first to strike here, with 11:21 remaining in the first period. Your score now, Fort Worth 0, Fresno 1. A silent, unbelievable opportunity. Seemed like just another day in the office for the Fresno Force, flipping the script here on the Fort Worth Jaguars. And heading down now for the face-off. It'll be recovered by Fresno, sailing all the way back to number 41, goalkeeper Ben Kitty. Nilsson to Solander. The juke around Angersteig, but he'll lose control of the ball, sending it now behind the goal. Max Blanco off the boards to Solander. Down to Nilsson. Kim Nyberg. Down the line, Neumann sending it down to Blanco behind the goal again. Fresno building more and more momentum, especially after that goal, now increasing their time of possession as well. Fresno's hit in. Blanco trying to find Solander, but it goes too deep in the crease. Angersteig on the counterattack. The pass out to Jarosz. Shot attempt wide, out of bounds. It'll be a Fresno Force hit in. And now it'll be Frafjord. Set to take it, he passes it to Adrian Amdahl. Amdahl backing off, he'll pass to Frafjord. Dokledal, the up man here in the Fort Worth defense. Matt Smith with a pass back to Frafjord. Over to Smith, down the line to Castellanos, deep in Fort Worth territory, chipped away by Angersteig. Dokledal able to recover and keep Fresno from continuing an offensive drive. Onefors here for Fort Worth. The Jaguars, of course, a team that's defined by their performance in the 11th hour. A lot of their games this season coming down to the third period. So certainly, losing out an early deficit is no unfamiliar experience for Fort Worth, and it certainly isn't one that keeps them from victory often. We'll see if Fresno can extend it to the point where it really makes a difference here. Torkelson with the ball behind the goal line, driving down, trying to get the angle on Angersteig, but will lose control of the ball, chipped out of bounds by Onefors. It's going to be another Fresno hit in. Torkelson in the center to Matt Smith. Shot attempt goes off the body of Onefors. facing aggressive defense from Strumer. Torkelson coming around on Strumer. Free hit awarded here to the Fresno Force. Heading down now to the corner, it'll be Blanco and Neumann set to take it. Over to Neumann. The pass to Solander, back to Neumann. Driving around now, coming center lane, shot attempt. Goes off the body of Christian Sario. Ryan Folick driving down on the fast break shot, just wide out of bounds. A very close call there for the Fresno Force off of the Ryan Folick drive. Kim Nyberg now from his own crease. He goes to Neumann, far side, deep pass down to Solander in the crease, sailing just wide. On a force there to recover after it sails off the backboards. Sami Alonen behind his own goal. He's got a full court press there from Max Blanco. Blanco with the pressure, able to get it out to Nelson. Shot saved by Turreusi. Face off in the far corner. Max Blanco getting called out. Both teams now going to make substitutions. Matt Smith set to take it here against Sami Alonen. And the ball sailing straight to Alex Dokledal. Pepe Strumer now in the close wing. He'll go to One Force. Fort Worth taking it slow. It's the token of their offense until they wait for the time to strike. Pepe Strumer, shot attempt goes off the body of Frafjord. Matt Smith now, the pass off the boards to Castellanos, driving around alone and behind the goal line. Play stopped. It's going to be a free hit here for Fresno. Matt Smith, he'll have Castellanos for support. But Alonen there for the steal for the Jaguars. Strumer over to Force. On a Force, sending it down deep. Strumer back to Force. On a Force in midcourt in the center to Seti Roimala. Down to Strumer. Shipped away by Castellanos. Dokledal still able to get there and pass it back out to Sami Alonen. On a Force, down the line. Pepe Strumer fighting against Frafjord as the ball bounces around. Hit's going to be awarded here to Fresno again. 8 minutes, 4 seconds still remaining in the first period. Fresno, the only team on the board so far. Nilsson, pass off the far boards. Neumann losing control there. Sami Alonen's stick went flying. Fresno's hit. Neumann to Nyberg. Nyberg now back to Neumann. Working the far lane passing. Neumann now driving in close to Solander. It's good! Axel Solander continuing his dominant performance in his first 2 games for the Fresno Force, extending Fresno's lead here, all while Fort Worth remains scoreless. Your score with 7 minutes, 49 seconds still to go in the first. It's Jaguars 0, Force 2. That's Alex Solander's 4th goal in the league there. That coming in just 4 periods of play. Certainly been a high performer already for Fresno coming in at the halfway mark of the season. Torkelson, the pass on the close wing to Amdahl. Shipped away there by Sorio. Amdahl still able to keep control. He'll pass it down. Smith to Torkelson, driving in close towards the crease. The ball bouncing too much, unable to get a shot attempt off. Amdahl nearly going to the ground. Hit's going to be awarded here to the Fresno Force. Over to Matt Smith, looking to take it quick. He'll go to Torkelson. It's good! Adam Torkelson with another goal on the game. Off the quick pass from Matt Smith. What a rapid-fire succession for the Fresno Force. Just 28 seconds later, extending their lead to 3 goals. Your score with 7:21 remaining in the first period. It's now Fort Worth 0, Fresno 3. heading back down now for the face-off. It'll be number 22, One Force, against number 34, Alex Neumann. Recovery by Fresno. And the last 7 minutes or so, they've done a phenomenal job of really capturing the momentum here against Fort Worth, putting them on their heels. Deep pass down to Solander, trying to find Nilsson, but the ball sailing too wide. Pepe Strumer on the counterattack. Over to Roimala, down to Dokledal, missing the ball for the shot attempt. Saved by Ben Kitty. Fresno has increased their time of possession. They've increased the number of drives they've gotten off. Fort Worth still doing a good job of countering, but they haven't been able to create enough offensive chances to make up for Fresno's dominance so far. Kim Nyberg on the close side. The pass to Nilsson. Over to Max Blanco. Down the line deep, looking for Solander. Chipped away by One Force. The referee's going to say it was played below the knee. Angersteig down to Roimala. Over to Strumer. Pepe Strumer taking his time. We'll go back to One Force. Angersteig, far side. Driving down, the pass going off the body of Nyberg and sailing out of bounds. It'll be Fort Worth's hit in. 6 minutes remaining. One Force around midcourt. They'll have Angersteig on the close wing. The pass over to Strumer. Driving in. Cross court to Angersteig. Behind the back pass to Roimala. Stolen there by Nilsson. Free hit's going to be awarded here to Fort Worth. Seti Roimala with the pass to Angersteig. Roimala again facing heavy pressure there from Solander. Able to get it out to Angersteig. Advantage play granted. The ball chipped away. One Force still with possession here for the Jaguars. Down to Dokledal. Over to Angersteig. Angersteig being kept around midcourt there by the Fresno defense. They're holding tight in their own territory, not pressing up just yet. Down to Dokledal. Heavy defense there from Kim Nyberg, forcing the ball back out to One Force. Now down to Seti Roimala in Fresno territory. Shot attempt going off the body of Nilsson. Solander spinning around, taking his time, looking for a man to pass to. His team going to make substitutions here. Neumann over to Edvin Nilsson. He'll pass to Amdahl. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the first period. The Jaguars still scoreless. Frafjord over to Smith. Smith down to Amdahl. Down the line. Intercepted by One Force. Force over to Pepe Strumer. Driving down. The pass to Folick. The spin around. It's good. Ryan Folick and Pepe Strumer able to put the Jaguars on the board with 4 minutes, 29 seconds still remaining in the first period. Your score now, Fort Worth Jaguars 1, Fresno Force 3. Ryan Folick getting his first point in the NAFL here off that assist of Pepe Strumer. Strumer, of course, a returner to the Jaguars squad. This being his second season. Last season, of course, Fort Worth ended up as the runner-up, losing to the Florida Vikings in the Troy Cup final match. They're looking to get back there this season. If they can win this game, it's going to be an important step on the roadmap to get there. Recovery by Fresno on the faceoff. Edvin Nilsson over to Nyberg. Back to Nilsson. He'll pass over to Blanco. Driving down, pass intercepted by Alonen. Over to Folick in the center. Jaros driving now. Goes off the foot of Nilsson. Jaros going to the ground. Solander trying to mount a counteroffensive there. Lose control of the ball and stop Fresno's momentum. Solander, the pass down deep to Nyberg. Back off the boards to Nilsson. Over to Neumann. Back to Nilsson. The shot attempt goes off the body there of Folick. Sailing down deep to the boards, Axel Solander. Losing some control, trying to get a pass out. He'll find Nilsson. Sorio still pursuing a little bit. Deep pass down to Neumann, intercepted by Alonen. He'll lose control, Blanco able to take it. Substitutions here for both teams. Roimala back on the court. Seti Roimala, of course, a star for the Fort Worth Jaguars this season. He is their top scorer, and he's one of the top in the league with 20 points, 15 goals, and 5 assists so far across 6 games. A phenomenal job. Amdahl, the pass in the center, intended for Torkelson, sailing wide, still able to get it out to Castellanos. Matt Smith now from midcourt, down to Frafjord. Cross court, off the boards. Castellanos again, stolen by Dokledal. Kicked out into open waters. Frafjord, the pass to Torkelson. Facing heavy pressure from Onefors. Shot attempt saved off the foot of Turrehusi. Another shot attempt by Amdahl going off the body of Pepe Strumer. It's going to be a Fort Worth Jaguars hit. Over to Onefors as Pepe Strumer ties his shoe. And now Strumer on the close wing. Fort Worth taking it slow here. As is the tradition of their offense, less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the first period. Still facing a 2-goal deficit, but gaining a bit more momentum there off of the Strumer goal. Down to Roimel in the center, kicked out to Dokledal, far wing, deep in Fresno territory, off the boards. He'll go to Isaac Angerstieg. Coming around, back to Onefors. He's got Strumer on the close side. Instead, will go to Angerstieg at midcourt, driving down, shot attempt off the body of Frederick Frafjord. Ben Kitty unable to recover it. Pepe Strumer there behind the goal line against Amdahl, driving around the pass to Onefors. Onefors to Angerstieg, intercepted by Frafjord. Spinning around, coming in close. He's got Torkelson in the crease. A pass to Torkelson. Back out to Amdahl. Coming back around now, off the boards. Torkelson getting it around Onefors. Spinning around, looking for a passing opportunity. He'll try to shoot it, but it sails wide out of bounds, hitting the bleachers. It's going to be a hit in here for the Fort Worth Jaguars with 1:14 left on the clock. Fort Worth is a team who loves to score in the last remaining minutes of a period. We'll see if they can do it here to make this game an even tighter matchup heading into intermission. Onefors taking it slow inbounding. Max Blanco starting to press here for the Fresno Force. He'll be tight on Angerstieg. The pass to Onefors behind his own goal. Onefors down to Nico Gray. Back to Force. Cross court. Over to Angerstieg. Down in the center, intended for Gray. Chipped up in the air there by Nilsson. Gray going to the boards on the shoulder-to-shoulder contact. The pass now. Solander driving down. Shot attempt off the body of Onefors. Nilsson battling hard for possession in center court. The hit's going to be awarded here to the Jaguars with 23 seconds remaining in the first. Onefors working with Angerstieg. Onefors taking his time. Fort Worth might not try any offensive movement here. We're in the last 10 seconds, and he's only being forced closer and closer to his own goal line by Max Blanco. Still hasn't passed the ball, and as time expires, your score at the end of the first. Fort Worth Jaguars 1, Fresno Force 3. Floorball fans, it's going to be an intense rest of this match. We've seen two well-matched teams so far this game. Fresno coming out ahead, but Fort Worth still with the ability to bring it back and put themselves back in this game and put themselves into the lead. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes with the second period here between the Fresno Force and the Fort Worth Jaguars. And, of course, stay tuned during the intermission as we'll be bringing you another exclusive NAFL player interview. football fans of the NAFL, we've just gotten done here with the first period of play between the Fort Worth Jaguars and the Fresno Force. I'm joined here by number 55, Adam Torky Torkelson. How are you feeling after the end of the first?
We play solid D. They play very slow, but yeah, we counter-attack and we are good with the ball, and yeah, we have the lead, so nothing to be ashamed of.
Now, speaking with a lot of your teammates, coming out of your win yesterday, it sounded like not everyone was fully satisfied with your team's performance, that you still had things to work on. How are you feeling after the end of the first period? Do you think some of those issues are resolving themselves?
Yeah, we were a bit slow yesterday. We had some two new players, so we needed some chemistry, and it seems like it's better today. And yeah, nothing we think about right now. We're doing our best and give 100% in every change. So yeah.
And obviously, the Fort Worth Jaguars, that's a team that you're very familiar with. Of course, they're in the league last season as well, keeping a lot of the same offensive strategy. Do you think that you've had a really set game plan coming in, knowing your enemy and knowing how to counterattack their offense?
Yeah, I would say so. We lost the first game against them in Texas, and now we have a bit more patience and let them play their slow play, and we go for the counter attacks. And when we have the ball, we let them suffer, and we also play a bit slow, so they can taste their own medicine.
Very well. Well, Torky, thank you so much for joining us. Floorball fans, don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with the second period of play here between the Jaguars and the Force. Well, floorball fans, it's almost time to return down to the court for the second period here between the Fort Worth Jaguars and the Fresno Force. But before we do, we'd like to remind you that without our sponsors, the NAFL wouldn't be possible. As you know, we sent our explorers out to search the galaxy. They came back and told us there was only one stop for everything floorball, floorballplanet.com. And of course, the NAFL has an official clothing partner for the 2023 NAFL season. It's Kempa. If you like what our referees are wearing, then you like Kempa. From head to toe, from shoe to shirt. And of course, as we get ready for the face-off, you can trust that our game ball is the only official game ball of the NAFL. Excel, because like the NAFL, Excel chooses to rule. And a reminder, floorball fans, that the statistics for this and every other NAFL game, past, present, or future, is always available online at statbeat.com/NAFL. From matches to points, goals, assists, rankings, and more, you can find it always at statbeat.com/NAFL. And recovery here by Fresno, narrowly on the faceoff. Now Neumann driving the pass to Blanco, shot sailing just wide out of bounds. Just barely touched goalkeeper Turrehusi. It'll be Neumann here with the hit. Over to Solander, shot sailing wide right. Alonen chipping it down, trying to find Dokladal, but it sails out of bounds. It'll be a Fresno Force hit in. And coming out of the last period, Fresno certainly holding the majority of the momentum. Fort Worth coming back there with a well-timed goal between Ryan Folick and Pepe Strumer. Fort Worth is a team that needs to regain a winner's mindset. They're a team that's looking tired on the court. Coming off the injury of Yole Cruz, they've been changing up their lines. Players like One Force have been pulling multiple back-to-back shifts. That's certainly affecting their motivation and their stamina. They need to recapture energy to get their passing game to the point that it was at the beginning of the season. For Fresno, they're a team that certainly seems to have new life breathed into them, along with the help of their new additions, Adrian Amdahl and Axel Solander. Matt Smith now recovering the ball after Roimala driving down. Smith taking his time. We spoke during the intermission to number 55, Adam Torkelson. He told us that for Fresno, they're a team that knows Fort Worth. They know what to expect from their passing offense. And he told us that this period, they're going to try and slow down their game as well. They're going to give Fort Worth a taste of their own medicine, to use his words. It'll be the Fresno Force on the hit here. Frafjord to Torkelson. Shot attempt saved by Turrehusi. Castellanos chipping it to the center of the court there. Smith spinning to get it away from Strumer. But it goes to Alonen in the crease. It'll be a Fresno Force free hit. New lines coming out for both teams. Once again, we see One Force still staying on the court, Ironmanning it. A lot of respect there. He's been playing a lot more minutes than he's used to. Fresno getting ready for the hit here. It'll be Nyberg. Over to Nilsson, it's good! Incredible court vision. Kim Nyberg, the assistant captain, could see nothing but defenders in front of him, so he sent it out to Edvin Nilsson with the perfect angle on the wing. Fresno, the first to strike here in the second period. Your score with 18:45 remaining in the second. It's now Fort Worth Jaguars 1 versus the Fresno Force 4. And off of that goal from the free hit, Fresno starting to reclaim some more momentum this period. It's only going to bolster their energy and mindset. That's what's been carrying them through these past few games, coming off their recent successes. And Nyberg, the pass down deep to Solander. It's good! Axel Solander. Another goal for Fresno. In incredibly rapid succession. His second goal of the game, his fifth on the season across 5 periods of play. He seems to be good for a goal a period. Axel Solander there carrying the score with 18:36 remaining to be Fort Worth 1, Fresno 5. And heading down now for the faceoff, it's Torkelson on Dokladal. Recovery by the Force. Adrian Amdahl heading down to field it. Go pass to Frafjord. Frafjord swinging around. Back to Amdahl. Over to Smith. Spinning around Dokledal, increasing the pressure there. He'll pass to Matt Smith, who's got some breathing room. Into Frafjord. Driving down the center. Pass intercepted. Strumer, but taken back by Frafjord. Castellanos to Torkelson. What a series here for the Fresno Force. Adam Torkelson with another goal for Fresno. A hat trick on the game. In a minute's time, Fresno scoring 3 goals. Torkelson creeping up from the far wing with an open look behind Turrehusi. 18:04 remaining in the second. Fresno starting to run away with it. Your score here now is going to be the Fort Worth Jaguars 1 versus the Fresno Force 6. That goal, Torkelson's 10th on the season. He's been one of the highest output players for the Force. Justin Knight now behind his own goal. Walsh back to Knight. Heavy Canadian line here. The pass to Kortmanch. The Canadian exports working down the court here for the Force. Angersteig there able to take the pass, but Van Patten able to get it. Saved by Turrehusi. Nick Van Patten still chipping it away, trying to keep Fresno's drive alive with help from Kortmanch. They might be able to do it. Not anymore. Free hit awarded here to the Fort Worth Jaguars. Fresno's bench getting loud. They're certainly excited. Now celebrating a 5-goal lead over the Fort Worth Jaguars. The pass down to Alonen. Deep shot attempt, just saved by Ben Kitty. Nico Gray trying to get it in, but it's chipped off the post. It's going to be awarded here to the Fort Worth Jaguars. Ball sent out of bounds. Fort Worth's bench not happy. One Force and Pepe Strumer seeming to yell about the call there by the referees. It's going to be Fresno's hit in. He'll pass it off the boards. Neumann down the line to Blanco. Max Blanco over to Solander. Shot wide left. Max Blanco back down. He'll find Edvin Nilsson on the far side. Nilsson fielding the ball. Driving in. Down to Solander. Behind the goal line. He'll have Alonen on him on the defense. Solander shot attempt. High bar post and out of bounds. It's going to be Fort Worth's ball here. Angersteig, the pass to One Force. Pepe Strumer back to One Force. Max Blanco, the up man here in the 1-2-2 zone, not pressing much yet. Now with the ball going to One Force, he'll start to play up. Over to Angersteig. He'll have Blanco behind him, cutting off the out route. Heavy pressure on the boards. But that aggressive defense is going to result in a free hit awarded to the Jaguars. One Force to Roimala, saved by Ben Kitty. On the far corner, Pepe Strumer recovering, chipped out of bounds off the stick of Axel Solander. Another Fort Worth ball, One Force to take it. The shot attempt saved by Kitty again. And the pass down deep by Nyberg, intended for Solander, sailing wide. Angersteig able to get there first. The pass to Pepe Strumer on the close side. Back to One Force. The key for Fort Worth going to be slowing down the pace of the game, extending their control through the passing offense here. Another save off the deep shot attempt by One Force by Ben Kitty. Edvin Nilsson facing heavy pressure. He passes it down deep. Castellanos and Smith. Matt Smith off the boards will find Castellanos. The two, of course, teammates last season for the Fresno Force squad, returning again. Time's going to be taken here as they need to repair the boards in the far corner. And there goes the rest of the far side, falling down like dominoes. The London Wall coming crashing down. And now it'll be a face-off in the far corner to resume play. Torkelson on One Force. And he'll get a pass out to Amdahl. The spin around, back to Torkelson. Over to Castellanos in the far corner, facing up against Jarosz. The ball shipped behind him, being kicked around. Now it's on a force. He's got a little bit of open room. Castellanos still pressing tight. He'll go with a pass off the boards to Sami Alonen to ward off the Fresno defenders. Alonen and Force working down together. Jaros on the far wing. Matt Smith, the up man here for the Fresno defense. Saurio going to the crease. It's good! On a Force. From deep, almost in mid-court on the close wing. Sends it past Ben Kitty. The drought is over for the Fort Worth Jaguars. 14 minutes, 58 seconds left in the second period. Your score now, Jaguars 2, Force 6. On a Force there. Saw an opportunity and he took it. He's brought several deep-range goals so far this 2023 NAFL season. They're always fun to watch. Now Fort Worth closing the gap here against Fresno. Floorball is a fast-paced, high-energy sport where absolutely anything can happen. And certainly it's in the cards here for Fort Worth to mount a comeback attempt and overcome the deficit that Fresno took on early. Improper face-off. It's going to be Fort Worth's ball on a Force, set to take it. On a Force, deep shot attempt again, just wide left, recovered by Ben Kitty. The pass to Alex Neumann, driving down on the counteroffensive. Solander just missing the timing on the shot attempt, going to the back boards there. The ball kicked out of bounds, so is Solander. It'll be Fresno's ball to resume. Neumann to Solander. Pass over to Blanco, shot saved by Tureusi. Neumann looking for Solander, pass sailing wild. Nilsson able to get there first, though, before Roimala. Now to Neumann. Passed on a Force off the body of Neumann. Seti Roimala will send it off the boards to on a Force. Down to Pepe Strumer. Far side, Roimala. Down to on a Force. Deep shot attempt again, this time off the stick of Neumann. Nilsson playing keep away there with Alex Dokledal in the crease, so get it out to Kim Nyberg. Dokledal, the only man currently in the Fresno backcourt, playing defense, now starting to retreat a bit. Matt Smith goes with the pass to Amdahl on the far side. Back to Smith. Over to Amdahl again. Dokledal starting to get closer. Frafjord in the center. Back out to Matt Smith. Amdahl facing some pressure. He'll go diagonal pass. Frafjord losing some control of the ball. Angersteig trying to get there first. And being shipped towards the wall there. Castellanos now for Fresno in double team coverage. Gets it to Smith. Deep pass down for Torkelson. Torkelson against One Force. On the back corner. Driving down. Shot attempt by Torkelson sailing high out of bounds. It'll be Fort Worth's ball on the hit in. Another player for the Fort Worth Jaguars who we haven't seen on the court so far this game. It's Captain Oscar Pisela. He seems to have been bothered by a lingering injury these last few games. He's been wearing a brace for most of the 2023 NAFL season on his left knee. Seems to be affecting him more and more, and now affecting his playing time. Nico Gray for the Jaguars. The pass to One Force. Smith retreating here for Fresno's defense. One Force. Back out to Sami Alonen. Alonen, deep shot attempt, goes off the body of Frafjord. Chipped into the far corner there by Jaros. Fresno looking for a call. They won't find one. Torkelson driving down. He's got Smith for support. He'll have to send it off the boards. Sorio there on the recovery. But some miscommunication by Fort Worth allows Smith to get in there with the pass to Frafjord. Down to Castellanos, just saved by Tureusi. Torkelson on a steal, driving down. He'll pass to Castellanos, but it sails wide. On a Force, able to get there. The ball bouncing around in center court. The pass to Gray, saved by Ben Kitty. Sent through the crease. Adrian Amdahl able to recover. That pass went wild. Now down to Matt Smith in the close corner. He'll pass to Nyberg. Down to Max Blanco. Cross court, Edvin Nilsson driving in close, coming around. The pass to Neumann. Over to Blanco, sailing wide behind the goal. Rolling round the bend. On a force now, recovering for Fort Worth. 11 and a half minutes remaining in the second period. Fort Worth still facing a 4-goal deficit. Strömer, Angerstieg. Angerstieg facing off against Blanco. He'll lose control. The pass to Solander. Chipped away again by Angerstieg. A mad grab for possession. It's going to result in a free hit awarded to the Jaguars. Pepe Strömer. The pass to One Force. Max Blanco chipping the ball away. Coming in close. Looking for a man to pass to. Going behind the goal. He'll get it to Solander. Cross-court pass blocked by Strömer. Dokledal now for the Jaguars. In Fresno territory. Shot attempt off the body of Neumann. Roimala recovering. Ball going off the foot of Kim Nyberg. Off the backboards. Neumann driving round the world. He'll spin as Pepe Strömer retreats to sub out. Kim Nyberg now on the close side. He'll send the ball down to Matt Smith. Facing double coverage. He'll send it down to Fredrik Frafjord. Over to Amdahl. Frafjord in the center lane now, facing a heavy press from Dokledal. He'll lose him, going behind his own goal. The pass to Matt Smith on the close wing. Down to Amdahl. Back to Smith. Over to Torkelson, close side. Shot attempt just wide, going off the post through the legs of Turrehusi, alone and able to get to the ball there. Less than 10 minutes remaining in the second period, officially past the halfway mark. And on the backboards, Frafjord trying to get a pass out. He'll be unable to. Torkelson with a lift pass over to Castellanos, down to Amdahl. Over to Matt Smith. Back to Amdahl. Matt Smith now, center lane. Facing a press there from Ryan Folick. Amdahl being forced back further into Fresno territory. Torkelson now looking to drive down. He'll lose control. Jaros able to get there. He'll get the angle off of Frafjord. The pass to Ryan Folick. The spin around back to Jaros, looking for a man to pass through the ball. Chipped up off the body of Frafjord. Double coverage there. Jaros still able to hold on to it. He'll be up against Nyberg there in the far corner. Nyberg able to get there. The pass to Matt Smith. He'll have Castellanos in front of him for support. Ball going off the foot there of Angerstieg. Over to Jaros. The shot saved by Ben Kitty. Nyberg taking out the back walls there. It's going to be a Fresno Force hit off a push call. Edvin Nilsson. Cross court to Max Blanco. Over to Neumann. Back down to Nyberg. Neumann in the center. Nyberg down close. Solander, the pass to Blanco. The spin around. Over to Neumann. To Solander. Shot off the stick of Angerstieg. He'll have another opportunity. Saved by Turrehusi. Chipped out of bounds there. It's going to be a Fresno Force ball. Solander to Neumann. Coming around. Trying for a Michigan goal. It's going to be a penalty call. Hard contact there. Turrehusi losing his helmet there as Neumann came around attempting for a Michigan-style lift goal. It'll be number 34, Alex Neumann, called for the penalty. Turrehusi taking a moment at his own sideline. And now the Fort Worth Jaguars going to enter power play. Facing this 4-goal deficit, it certainly could be crucial for them to regain their momentum here in the second period to give them an opportunity to close the gap up even further with 8 minutes, 15 seconds still remaining in the second period. Fort Worth about to enter power play. Alonen taking the hit to resume play with the pass out to Onefors. Fresno is a team that is very successful traditionally in power play defense. We'll see how they stack up against the pass-heavy offense. Fort Worth, they love to take their time in power play. Outlast the defense, wait for them to make a stupid mistake. Alonen over to Onefors. Driving in towards the center, Roimala unable to get the shot attempt off. A close call there for Fresno. Nyberg now driving down as Dokledal loses a stick. Ball sailing out of bounds. It's going to be a Fresno force hit in. Nyberg sending it down deep, looking for Solander. Onefors able to get the angle. Sami Alonen now inbounding. He'll pass to Onefors. Roimala, shot saved by Ben Kitty. Alonen to Pepe Strumer. Shot attempt saved again by Ben Kitty, number 41. The Canadian goalie from North Shore Floorball. Nilsson, the pass over to Solander. Stolen by Alona, but Nilsson with a lot of momentum able to get there. The ball chipped up off the body of Onefors. Fresno mounting an offensive here, gaining some pressure and momentum. Despite being a field player down, over a minute has elapsed so far as Fresno comes back down to their own court for defense. Onefors with the ball. He'll go to Pepe Strumer. Onefors back to Strumer. Over to Alonen. Sami Alonen to Dokledal. Back to Alonen. Over to Roimala. Onefors shot wide. Goes off the backboards. Nyberg again for Fresno. Less than 15 seconds remaining in the penalty. Onefors sends it to Strumer. Onefors shot goes off the body there of Max Blanco. Coming down the line now, Frafjord. Cross-court pass over to Walsh. It appears it was a longer penalty assessed there against Alex Neumann. Fresno still a field player down. Pepe Strumer able to come away with it. Onefors with the ball now. Certainly you're going to look to take it slow here. Onefors working with Strumer, far side. Sami Alonen. Desetti Roimala. Alonen down to Force. Pepe Strumer, far side. Onefors again, back to Strumer. The shot attempt is good! 3 minutes and 2 seconds into the 4-minute penalty. Onefors with another long-range goal. And another Fort Worth Jaguars score with 5 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the second period. Your score now, Fort Worth 3, Fresno 6. Crucial play there from the Jaguars. They were able to ward off several drives there by the Force, despite them being a field player down. Finally able to convert and put this back to a 3-goal game. For a clutch team like the Fort Worth Jaguars, it certainly means anything is possible. A reminder that with a win today, the Jaguars will put themselves right back up to the top of playoff consideration, battling for the 3rd seed. And with a win today, it would be the Fresno Force. It would then be tied again with the Ohio Aviators for the 2nd seed. Max Blanco driving down. The pass to Solander misses its mark. Onefors able to get there first. Force to Jaros. Chipped away by Max Blanco. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the second period. Off the board, Solander with a lot of hustle, taking out the boards. His stick went flying. Gonna have to take time to repair them. What a collision there. It's going to be a Fresno ball here to resume play. Still waiting on the repairs here. Now time to resume. Blanco to Solander. Trying to find Neumann. Past the crease, the ball sailing out of bounds. The call's going to be Jaguars hit ends. Thrummer over to Onefors. Pepe Thrummer. Far side facing a press from Blanco. Still able to get it out to Onefors. Pepe Thrummer going down. Far lane. Spinning around. Ball chipped away by Solander. Counterattack here for Fresno. The pass to Blanco. The shot sailing just wide right. Still Neumann to Solander. Back to Neumann. Solander trying to get a smooth move off there. Jaros too keen on the defense. The boards hit down, have to be repaired there. On the return, it's going to be a Fresno force hit. Matt Smith taking it fast. The pass to Frafjord. Over to Amdahl. Frafjord again. Cross court to Matt Smith. Frafjord. Driving in center lane. Deep pass attempt to Castellanos, but it instead sails off the body of Turrehusi. Now Pepe Thrummer. He'll go over to Sami Alonen. In the center to Angersteig. Trying to get a shot off, but some great defense from Frafjord, and it's now kicked out to Matt Smith. He'll pass it out to Torkelson off the boards. Less than 3.5 minutes remaining. Torkelson coming around. He's got Castellanos there for support. Castellanos nearly missing that pass. Still able to send it down to Torkelson. Coming around now. He'll pass it to Amdahl. Seti Roimala continuing to press here for the Jaguars. Amdahl spinning around now in double team coverage. Still able to get it out on the close boards. Adrian Amdahl chipping the ball in the air. It stays in bounds. Finally losing possession there. The ball going to Pepe Thrummer. In the center to Angersteig. He'll lose some control, but it's going to be a hit awarded to the Fort Worth Jaguars. 2 minutes, 41 seconds remaining in the second period. Seti Roimala. The ball goes back down to Turrehusi, who kicks it to Onefors. Pepe Thrummer. Over to Jaros. Deep shot attempt. Sails out of bounds off the body of Adam Torkelson. It'll be a Fort Worth Jaguars hit. Onefors working with Jaros far side. Jaros back down to Onefors. Solander pressing. It'll leave Jaros open. Looking for a shot attempt. Neumann able to box him out and keep it from happening, but it's still going to be a hit awarded here to the Jaguars. 2:06 remaining in the second. Fort Worth still facing a 3-goal deficit. Onefors shot goes off the body of Solander, sailing out of bounds. It'll be a Fort Worth hit in. Seti Roimala passes it down to Onefors. Force. Down to Roimala. Cross court intercepted by Neumann. Neumann. The ball chipped up by Roimala. Still able to get to Solander. Neumann. The pass back out to Nilsson. Nilsson. Deep shot attempt is good. Edvin Nilsson. Sending it with a lot of power. It collided with Turrehusi, but it had enough energy to carry it past to roll into the goal. With 1 minute 45 seconds remaining in the second period, your score now, Fort Worth Jaguars 3, Fresno Force 7. That's Edvin Nilsson's second goal of the game, 10th of the season. It's been a lot of high-scoring matches here in the NAFL, especially for the Fresno Force. And now they re-extend their lead to 4 goals over the Jaguars. Heading down for the face-off, it's going to be Torkelson on Force. Recovery by Fresno. Nico Gray pressing hard. Frafjord able to get the angle and the pass off to Matt Smith. Smith now with the pass to Frafjord behind him. Back on the close wing to Smith. Frafjord. Down to Smith. Down the line. Torkelson. Fighting in the far corner there against Onefors. Onefors down to Sami Alonen. Facing double team coverage there. Torkelson trying to break the ball out. He'll force a quick pass. Smith able to get there. Adrian Amdahl driving down now. The shot attempt saved by Ture Husi. Husi sends it to Alonen. Fort Worth surviving that offensive drive there by Fresno by inches. Onefors on the far side, taking his time. It looks like, again, the Jaguars might not try for any offensive movement in the final seconds of this period. It's certainly telling about their mindset right now, looking to just take this time to rest. They'll recover during the intermission and hopefully come out stronger in the third period. Right now, just a game of keep away. Matt Smith not worried about pressing in the last 10 seconds here of the period. Alonen, deep shot attempt into the hands of Ben Kitty. And as time expires in the second period, your score, Fort Worth Jaguars 3, Fresno Force 7. Floorball fans, another incredible period here against the Fresno Force and the Fort Worth Jaguars. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in less than 10 minutes with what's set to be an exciting conclusion between these two teams. And of course, stay tuned during the intermission as we have another exclusive NAFL player interview. Well, floorball fans of the NAFL, we've just gotten done with another incredible period of NAFL play here between the Fresno Force and the Fort Worth Jaguars. I'm joined here by assistant captain of the Force, number 78, Kim Nyberg. Kim, how are you feeling after the second?
Yeah, I'd say like we started off better now, but we let them shoot a few goals now. We need to be tougher on the goal, I think. But other than that, we got a lot to work on, and some of the plays we want to do is succeeding. So we're kind of happy. Yeah.
Now, Kim, you've taken on a leadership role in a very experienced team with a lot of great talent, and Fresno's been trending upward these past few games. What do you see is the biggest strength for the Fresno squad from your leadership position?
Yeah, I'd say off the pitch really, because
Floorball fans, it's almost time to head back down to the court here for the third period between the Fort Worth Jaguars and the Fresno Force. But before we do, we'd like to remind you again that without our sponsors, the NAFL wouldn't be possible. Now, as you know, we sent our explorers out to search the galaxy. They came back and told us there was only one stop for everything floorball, floorballplanet.com. And, of course, the NAFL has an official clothing partner for the 2023 season. It's Kempa. If you like what our referees are wearing, then you like Kempa. And as we head down now for the face-off, you can trust that our game ball is the only official game ball of the NAFL. Excel, because like the NAFL, Excel chooses to rule. And a reminder that the statistics for this game and every other NAFL game, past, present, and future, is always available online at statbeat.com/NAFL. Heading down now for the face-off. It'll be On Force against Alex Neumann. Fort Worth gained some traction against Fresno during that second period, cutting down on the deficit, now only 4 goals. Shot attempt by Dokledal, saved by Ben Kitty. Fort Worth still hasn't had a lot of success getting their passing offense off the ground just yet. They certainly have an opportunity here in more than enough time. And Sami Alonen there on the ground. Looked like a hard hit there in the crease. Currently being evaluated by a trainer on the court. And alone and able to get to his feet. Still looks like he took a hard hit there inside his own crease. Fort Worth, a team that's certainly been hurt by injuries in the past few games, losing their head coach Joel Ekrus, who also played on the first line for a short stint, and also now Oskari Pisala, who hasn't seen the court this game, presumably due to a lingering left knee injury. On a force, working with Christian Sorio. We spoke during the intermission to assistant captain of the Fresno Force, number 78, Kim Nyberg. He told us that his teams felt overall happy about their performance so far. They lost a bit of traction, of course, in the second period, but they're confident they can regain it in the third. He said that the biggest strength for his Fresno team is really what happens off the pitch versus on the pitch. He said his team's had a lot of great experiences building great chemistry. That's been their key to success. He says if he could sum up the team culture in a sentence, it would be that the team treats each other like brothers. And Christian Sorio with the goal. It looked like a save by Ben Kitty, but it rolled up him and over, behind, around, into the goal. Certainly unexpected there after it made contact with Ben Kitty right in the torso, but had enough momentum and enough topspin to roll it over. Fort Worth, the first team to strike here in the third period with 18:53 still remaining. Now, your score, Jaguars 4, Force 7. And heading back down now for the face-off. It'll be Adam Torkelson, number 55, against On Force, number 22. Fort Worth cutting the margin to only 3 goals, something that we know they can conquer. In their first game of the 2023 NAFL season, they faced off against the Ohio Aviators and overcame an 8-4 deficit to finally win 10-9, all within the third period in the last 15 minutes of play off of an Oskari Pisala game-winning goal in the last 15 seconds of the match. We know that Fort Worth can create the magic to make those late game wins happen. We're going to see if they can do it again here today. The pass to On Force. Down to Pepe Strumer. On a Force, down to Angerstieg, back to Force. Off the boards, Seti Roimala looking for a call there. Looks like he caught his hand with a stick there with some hard contact. Fredrik Frafjord. Spin around, Dokledal still pressing him tight. Frafjord over to Smith. And working hard there on the far corner. Smith trying to stay alive in double coverage. The ball chipped out. Now it's Neumann on Dokledal. Smith supporting, 2-on-2. The ball sailing out of bounds. It's going to be a Fresno call. The force here for the hit in. Nyberg over to Nilsson. Blanco back to Nyberg, working with Neumann, far side. Nilsson now with Nyberg. A lot of backcourt passing here. Ball sent down deep to Axel Solander. Over to Max Blanco, working hard against Throomer. The ball getting kicked around there in the far corner. Finally getting out to Solander. They're in Fort Worth territory. Over to Neumann. Nilsson, shot attempt. High bar and out. Solander trying to get another shot off. Goes off the body of Pepes Throomer. Blanco losing control. Roimala driving down. He'll lose control as well. Now it's Roimala and Nilsson. On the far side, taking out two boards. Hit's going to be awarded here to the Jaguars. Jaros to Force. Roimala to Stroomer. The ball sailing out of bounds there. It's going to be a Fresno Force hit in. Matt Smith getting set. He'll go with a pass to Torkelson. It's good. Adam Torkelson with another goal, his 11th on the season, his 4th today. Fresno certainly back in it. Their first goal of the third period, 16 minutes, 37 seconds still remaining in the third. Your score now, Fort Worth 4, Fresno 8. Two players now, both with 4-goal performances. Adam Torkelson with a phenomenal job, and then Axel Solander with another hat trick. 2 games in a row. His 2 first games for the Fresno Force, Torkelson and Solander, have been unstoppable during the second week of play here in Florida. Recovery by Fresno sailing all the way down to Ben Kitty. Looking more like an outfielder than a goalie with that catch. Now Frafjord on the far side, swinging around in the center. The pass back out. Matt Smith over to Castellanos. Back to Smith. Down to Amdahl. In the center, Torkelson. Out to Castellanos. Far side. Down the line to Frafjord. Spinning around. Coming close to the center. Shot. Sailing high out of bounds. It'll be a Fort Worth Jaguars hit in. Stroomer sending it to Alonen on the far side. Back in the game after his hard hit earlier. Jaros driving down. He has an opportunity. Shot sailing wide left. Neumann off the wall. Smith to Torkelson driving down. He has Neumann for support. Instead, it'll go to Smith. Back to Torkelson. Saved off the leg of Turrehulsi. Neumann gets it to Torkelson. Shot goes off the body of Sami Alonen, hitting his shin hard. Another tough break there for number 59, Sami Alonen. Taking it quick to Solander. Just missing the ball for a shot attempt. Going to the far corner. Over to Blanco. Around Angerstieg. Over to Neumann. Able to break it out into double coverage and get it to Edvin Nilsson. In the center to Neumann. Back to Nilsson. Nilsson in the center lane. Driving down, deep shot attempt, sailing high over the goal, out of bounds. Fort Worth's ball here. Stroomer over to One Force. Back to Pepe Stroomer. Pass cross court to One Force. Facing off against Blanco. He'll send it off the boards. Blanco starting to release his press. Force sending it down the line to Dokledal. Shot attempt is good. Alex Dokledal, number 12, the player from the Czech Republic. Putting Fort Worth closer and closer again. 14 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the third period. Your score now, Jaguars 5, Force 8. Dokledal plays for Gullivers, the second highest men's competition in the Czech Republic. He's brought a lot of experience here. He's come in a big way on the first line, meshing well with his Finnish teammates. And Folik trying to chip the ball down to One Force. Matt Smith with 2 consecutive blocks. Fresno now driving down into Fort Worth territory. Chipped it over to Smith, back into Castellanos. Sorio able to send it to One Force. Coming down now, Pepe Strumer over to One Force. Back to Strumer in the center lane. No one for support on the close wing. He'll have to go to One Force. Shot attempt saved. Castellanos trying to chip it away. Strumer able to come away with it still. He'll break away the coverage of Torkelson and pass it out to One Force. Pepe Strumer. Driving back now, cross court to Jaros. Shot attempt, wide left after contact with Torkelson. In Fort Worth territory, Jaros losing control. Castellanos driving down, chipping it over to Torkelson, saved by One Force. Over to Ryan Folik. He'll go over to One Force. Cross court to Pepe Strumer. Into Sorio. Back to Strumer. One Force. In the center lane, taking his time. It's a trademark here for the Fort Worth offense to slowly wait for their opponent to make a mistake. Shot attempt by Dokledal off the body of Frafjord there. Amdahl now with the ball for Fresno. Spin around Jaros. He gets it to Torkelson. Stolen by One Force with Sorio for support. And he'll head back down into Fort Worth territory. Deep pass to Strumer. Torkelson kicking it to the boards. Matt Smith there for support, sending it into open waters. Angerste still battling hard, able to get it to where Pepe Strumer is able to come in for support. The pass to Force, despite the Matt Smith press. Back to Pepe Strumer. Coming around center lane, going to the far side, will pass to One Force. As Pepe Strumer comes out, number 24. The American Matt Nunez in. Down the line to Seti Roimala. He'll lose control of the ball there as he tries to make a shot attempt. Torkelson to Smith. He'll get it over to Castellanos. Back down to Kim Nyberg. Off the boards, over to Nilsson. Nilsson now, close wing, deep pass, cross court to Neumann. But it's going to be a high stick call there on Alex Neumann. Fort Worth's ball, 11:35 remaining in the third. One Force down to Angerste. Chipped away by Neumann. Solander on the recovery. The pass to Blanco. Blanco to Neumann. Spinning around. Nunez on defense, off the boards, over to Nyberg. Nilsson back to Nyberg at the point, down to Neumann. Trying to break off Dokledal. Great defense there from Fort Worth. Down to Neumann. Trying to find Solander on the far side of the crease, but the ball losing just enough momentum that it's hard to control. Solander still able to get it out to Kim Nyberg. Nyberg down deep, looking for Blanco, behind the goal line. Go over to Alex Neumann. To Solander, close side, down to Nyberg. Over to Max Blanco again. Fresno speeding up the passing, taking their time here on this offensive drive, only cementing their momentum further. Neumann sends it around the boards, over to Nilsson. Nilsson now going to the far wing. He'll pass it back down to Nyberg. This may very well be, like Adam Torkelson told us, their strategy would be a taste of Fort Worth's own medicine. Both teams losing side of the ball there. Angerstieg, the first one to find it. He'll pass it to Onefors. Onefors now taking it slow. 10 minutes remaining in the third period. Shot attempt by Aros. Wide right going off the backboards. And a battle for possession takes 3 sections of the board out. They'll have to be repaired. Fort Worth playing it quick already here. Stolen by Frederick Frafjord. Smith to Torkelson in the center lane, driving down. It'll go to the crease, and it'll go to Ture Hulsi. He'll kick it to Onefors. Onefors sending it to Sami Alonen. And again after another hard hit, this time on his shin. On the far side, Taylor Walsh able to come away with it here for the Force. The pass down to teammate Matt Smith. The two Canadian exports reuniting for another year. Torkelson, it's good. Another fast break goal. Adam Torkelson continuing a dominant performance this game. And for Adam Torkelson, it's his 5th goal of the game. It's back to a 4-goal lead here for the Fresno Force. Your score with 9:17 remaining in the third period. Now it's Fort Worth Jaguars 5, Fresno Force 9. Adam Torkelson now 9th in the competition out of all of the NAFL for top scorer. Coming in at 15 points on the season, 12 goals, 3 assists. Edvin Nilsson now, close side. Driving towards the center lane, out to Nyberg. Neumann, back to Nyberg. Down off the boards, Nilsson over to Solander, back to Blanco. Shot saved by Husi, off his helmet. High stick call on Edvin Nilsson's swing. It's going to be Fort Worth on the hit. Sami Alonen now. Taking it slow, the pass to Pepe Strumer. Onefors taking some well-needed rest here off this rotation. He's been playing multiple shifts back-to-back. Solander driving down. Can he get a goal off? He'll try and attempt, but it sails wide right. Neumann kicking it into the crease. It's going to be a Fresno Force ball. Neumann working with Solander. Back to Solander. Down to Nilsson. Kim Nyberg now facing a little bit of pressure there from Dokledal. Solander to Blanco. Back to Nyberg. Nyberg driving in. He'll pass it back out to Torkelson. Fresno slowing the pace of the game down. Walsh working with Smith, far side, down to Amdahl. Walsh coming around to Amdahl, cross court over to Matt Smith. Once again, playing with a Fort Worth style offense here. A lot of backcourt passing. Goes off the foot there of Dokledal. Roimala missing the ball for the shot attempt. Torkelson, Smith, over to Frafjord. The shot sailing out of bounds. It'll be a hit in here for the Fort Worth Jaguars. Strumer to Onefors in the center lane. And a deep shot attempt into the hands of Ben Kitty. He'll pass it out to fellow Canadian Taylor Walsh. Amdahl driving down. The pass over to Frafjord. He'll find Torkelson. Torkelson out to Walsh. He'll miss the ball. Amdahl still able to get there first before Ryan Folick can. Amdahl, the spin around in the center. Adam Torkelson. The juke around Jaros. Down to Frafjord. Over to Smith. He'll miss the ball for a shot opportunity. Advantage play granted to Fresno. Tight defense from Jaros. Coming around Jaros. Able to break possession there for Matt Smith and get it out to Pepe Strumer. Onefors now facing a press from Frafjord. It'll come down to Christian Sario. They'll be able to get it around Frafjord. Onefors now to Pepe Strumer. Far side. Number 6, Klas Bergede. In here for the defense. Sario, shot attempt into the hands of Ben Kitty. Number 13, Justin Knight. Over to Cordmonch. He'll go to Nick Van Patten. Driving down, far side. Van Patten trying to find Bergede. Shot attempt. Sailing just wide. Saved by Turrehusi. It's going to be a Fort Worth hit. Impressive try there by the Fresno Force. Onefors again with the ball. Carson Monroe there on the press for Fresno. Backing off now. He'll retreat towards his own territory. Now coming back up. Over to Pepe Strumer. Onefors around Nick Van Patten. To Strumer. Back to Onefors. Now Bergede coming around. Onefors able to juke around him. The ball chipped away by Cordmonch. Strumer maintaining possession of the ball despite contact with Carson Monroe. The hit awarded to the Jaguars. Monroe driving down. It's going to be time called here. Looks like it might have been a push there by Carson Monroe. Isaac Angersteig going to the ground there. It appears the referee's saying they didn't see the push, they can't call on it, but it still is going to be a Fort Worth hit. Off of some heavy defense there from Carson Monroe. Over to Strumer, far side. Back to Onefors. Onefors. A juke to get around. Klas Bergede sending it down to Dokledal. Heavy defense from Cordmonch. He'll send it back out to Strumer. Pepe Strumer backing off. Nick Van Patten pressing now Monroe coming up. Over to Dokledal, far side, back to Strumer. Onefors, shot sailing wide left. Dokledal there to recover for Fort Worth. He'll send it down, Pepe Strumer. Ball going down towards the backboards, chipped away by Strumer off of Knight, and it's going to be a hit awarded to the Fresno Force. Edvin Nilsson now on the close wing. Down the line, Noaman sending it to Solander. He'll pass it behind the back to Noaman. You can tell the chemistry of Fresno really improving. Edvin Nilsson here. He'll go across, Nyberg. Noaman, pass blocked there off the body of Angersteig, still staying in bounds. It's going to be Solander on Onefors. 3 boards sent flying. Max Blanco still with the ball, working with Nyberg, far side. And Ryan Folick with the steal there for the Fort Worth Jaguars. It's going to be ruled here to Fort Worth. Onefors inbounding slowly here. 3.5 minutes left on the clock in the third period. They'll get the angle on Blanco. They'll find Jaros around center court. Jaros boxed out. Nyberg able to get there. He'll pass down. Solander to Blanco. Blanco's shot is good. Max Blanco with yet another goal for the Fresno Force. 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the third. Fresno now in double-digit territory. Your score, Jaguars 5, Force 10. Heading down now for the face-off, it's going to be number 88, Pepe Strumer, against number 6, Klaas Brigade. And Brigade chipping it away there from Angersteig. Incorrect hit there on Carson Monroe. And it's going to be Angersteig with the free hit there for the Jaguars. Pepe Strumer now. Close side, Monroe starting to press. Down to Angersteig in the center lane. Pass back to Strumer. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the third. Pass down deep, intended for Dokledal, sailing wide. Thomas Kortmach, the Canadian, able to get there first. Facing double-team coverage, though, in his own territory. Angersteig trying desperately to get away with it. Dokledal gets it passed out to Strumer. The shot attempt saved by Ben Kitty. Ball sailing out of bounds. It's going to be a Fort Worth ball. Angersteig to Alonen. Deep shot attempt, wide right, off the backboards. Knight driving down. He'll pass to Van Patten, over to Monroe. And 2 saves there by Ture Hulsi. Now Van Patten driving down, saving the Dokledal offensive. That ball going off the foot there of Nico Gray, able to get it to Justin Knight. Now Nick Van Patten with some breathing room for Fresno. Will pass to Thomas Kortmach. Through the legs of Pepe Strumer, his shot sailing wide left. Klaas Brigade hitting the ball out of bounds. It'll be Fort Worth's hit in with 1:53 remaining. One Force now, taking it from the far corner. Go to Hulsi, who kicks it back to One Force. One Force taking it slow. Fort Worth, of course, facing a 5-goal deficit. We'll see if they want to try and cut that down anymore here in the last 2 minutes of the third period. One Force down to Jaros. He'll lose control of that ball. Matt Smith over to Torkelson. The spin around. Jaros driving down, saved by Ture Hulsi. The ball still up for grabs. In center lane, Amdahl blocking out Jaros. The pass to Torkelson in double coverage. Amdahl able to get there, driving down. The ball bouncing, but he's able to get a shot off. Saved again by Ture Hulsi. Pepe Strumer now with the ball. Just over a minute remaining in the third. Pepe Strumer cross court to Jaros. Coming down now, center lane, driving in Fresno territory, looking to get a shot off. He'll try it, but it goes off the body of Adrian Amdahl. Out of bounds. It'll be Fort Worth's hit in. Chipped up in the air, Christian Sario trying to recover, but now it's Frafjord. He's got Torkelson for support. The ball chipped away by Sario. Matt Smith still able to get it back from Strumer. Over to Torkelson. Shot goes off the body of One Force. 31 seconds left on the clock here for this hit in. First line back on the court here for Fresno. Blanco to Solander, trying to find Noaman, unable to chip it in there from the crease. And it's going to be a hit awarded here to the Jaguars. 24 seconds left on the clock. Sami Alonen with the ball, far side. Deep pass down to Sario, chipped up in the air. Noaman taking it, the pass to Solander. Over to Kim Nyberg, back to Solander. Down around the boards. Nilsson to Noaman, into Blanco, saved by Hulsi. Jaros driving down now in the final second. Shot attempt off the body of Kim Nyberg. Max Blanco takes it, And at the end of time, your final score here, live from Winter Haven, Florida. It's Fort Worth Jaguars 5, Fresno Force 10. The Force advancing to 4-3 on the season. The Jaguars falling to 3-4. Still going to be looking in from the outside for a playoff spot. Fresno now back in a tie position here against the Ohio Aviators for second place seed in the league. What a match of floorball, fans. Thank you for joining this broadcast of the NAFL. Don't go anywhere just yet, as we'll be bringing you another exclusive post-game NAFL interview. Football fans of the NAFL, we're live here at the end of the match here. Fresno Force coming away with a win against the Fort Worth Jaguars, 10-5. I'm joined here by number 7, Carson Monroe. Carson, how are you feeling after the win?
I feel pretty good. We're going to go have a pool party afterwards. The juices are flowing right now. We got quite a bit of grinders on the team just hitting the boards. We won in the corners all the time, and we came out from the jump just ready to play.
Now, Carson, obviously you're on a team that has a lot of foreign talent, but as a returner, as an American here playing in the NAFL with Fresno, how do you feel your experience has been with the team and with the culture?
I feel it's been pretty good, getting a month to go train in Europe and go play in Norway over there. It's definitely helped a lot because of just that talent over in Europe. So playing with them and meshing hasn't been a problem. We fit really well as a team, and we're very inclusive of each other.
And what do you think is going to be the key for Fresno as you continue on this momentous drive during the season, looking for a high seed position heading into the playoffs?
We got to keep grinding, and it's just going to be that team play and working hard on the board. So that's what we got to do, get our shots and keep it simple.
Understood. Carson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Floorball fans, don't worry. We're going to be back in just over an hour with some more exciting NAFL action with a primetime game between the Florida Vikings and the Texas Tornadoes at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I've been your host, Tanner David.